Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today, your primetime destination news, newsmakers, talking points. It's Thursday night, and this is where you'll get all the day's big stories on the news today. Our big questions, the Epstein files. We are putting our focus on it. Is it a can of worms? Can a relationship with a convicted sexual offender be seen as professional? Has Union Minister Hardip Puri become an embarrassment for the Modi government? And is Rahul Gandhi justified in raising the Epstein files issue? That's going to be our top focus. Also, who is winning the Bangladesh elections that have just concluded? Counting has begun. We'll have a live report from the ground. Plenty to look forward to. Our top story tonight. A day after Rahul Gandhi, the Congress leader, launched his most fierce attack against the Modi government, accusing it of surrendering on the Indo-US trade deal and also bringing in the Epstein files. Anil Ambani and Union Minister Hardip Puri, in his address, the BJP has hit back. Its MP Nishikant Dubey has moved a motion in the Lok Sabha that calls for Rahul Gandhi's expulsion and a ban on his participation of polls. An unfazed Rahul Gandhi, though, says that he will continue to fight, he says, against the Indo-US deal, even as a section of the Congress wants the resignation of Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, who they accuse of links with the disgraced sexual offender convicted Jeffrey Epstein. It's now Rahul Gandhi versus the BJP, this time on the Indo-US trade deal and also on the Epstein files. Today we'll look at those files closely, but first, take a look at our top story.
Epstein case. So 3 million files.
Rahul Gandhi's speech during the debate on union budget has left the Treasury benches fuming.
I will not allow you.
Large parts of his speech stand expunged.
But that is not related with the budget.
Okay, sir, I won't say Epstein.
I will not allow. That will
I'm not saying Epstein.
These include his references to Union Minister Hardip Puri and industrialist Anil Ambani, whose names are mentioned in the material linked to Jeffrey Epstein, released by the US Department of Justice. Hardip Puri has rejected charges of direct ties to Epstein. The minister admitted meeting Epstein 3 or 4 times in 8 years after he retired from diplomatic service and was working for the International Peace Institute.
My boss in the IPI, Mr. Terry Rod Larson, was the person who knew this particular infamous person, Mr. Epstein. As part of a delegation of the IPI or the ICM that I met Mr. Epstein on a few occasions, 3 or maximum 4. In 8 years, there are 2 references or 1 email. I meet Mr. Reid Hoffman of LinkedIn, and after the meeting with Reid Hoffman, I send a message.
The opposition is busy punching holes in Hardip Puri's defense. They point to the mail trail between Hardip Puri, Epstein and LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman to allege the former diplomat was closely linked to Epstein. According to the mails released on September 24, 2014, Epstein wrote to Hoffman introducing Hardip Puri. The next day, Hoffman replies and Puri tries to set up a meeting with Hoffman. On October 4, Hardip Puri in his mail tells Epstein he's meeting Hoffman later in the day and Epstein gives us tips for making a pitch. On October 5, Hardip Puri offers to brief Epstein about his meeting with Hoffman and they agree to meet on October 10th.
एप्स्टीन किसके इशारे पर, किसके निर्देश पर रीड हॉफमैन, जो कि लिंक्डइन के को-फाउंडर हैं, उनकी भारत यात्रा प्लान कर रहा था? ये सब हरदीप पुरी किस कैपेसिटी में कर रहे थे, किस हैसियत से कर रहे थे? हरदीप पुरी उस वक्त एक रिटायर्ड डिप्लोमेट थे। क्या भारत सरकार की एम्बेसी बंद हो चुकी थी? क्या राजदूत नहीं थे वहां? उनको हरदीप पुरी मिले कि जो ये सारा कार्यक्रम करवाएंगे?
In Parliament, the BJP has launched a counter-attack. While the party did not move a privilege notice, its MP Nishikant Dubey is moving a substantive motion seeking action against Rahul Gandhi.
मैंने एक सब्सटेंसिव मोशन दिया है, उसमें मैंने जिक्र किया है कि कैसे ये सोरोस फाउंडेशन के साथ, फूड फाउंडेशन के साथ, यूएसएड के साथ मिलकर थाईलैंड जाते हैं, कंबोडिया जाते हैं, वियतनाम जाते हैं, यूएस जाते हैं, भारत विरोधी ताकतों के साथ किस तरह से मिले हुए रहते हैं, इनकी सदस्यता भी रद्द हो और इनको जिंदगी भर के लिए चुनाव लड़ने के लिए डिबार भी कर दिया जाए।
Yesterday, what was the code word? Authenticate. Authenticate was yesterday. Today is what?
Today is your
बोल रहे हैं आप, मेरा हाथ पीछे privilege motion today.
American financier and child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was convicted in 2008 and he served time for more than a year. He died allegedly by suicide while awaiting trial in a federal case in 2019. 6 years later, the Epstein files are shaking up politics in India. Bureau Report, India Today.
And today, in an exclusive interview to India Today's Maria Shakil, Hardip Puri insisted that he had been ambushed into meeting Epstein and he had conducted no criminal misconduct and he was not aware of the full gravity of the crimes of Epstein when he met him in 2014. Listen in.
But Mr. Puri, in 2008, Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted of his offense as a sexual offense.
Whoever is doing your research for
And
whoever
you
is doing
meet
your
him in
research for you,
2014.
let me tell you, whoever is doing your research for you, tell him to find out in 2008 how many people knew about it. I didn't know him in 2008. I didn't meet him in 2008. I'm again telling you something. He was part of something in the Florida state, okay, where there was a charge for which he got a house sentence, etc. But I can tell you, I didn't know him in 2008. I didn't meet him in 2009. When I first met him in the year of the Lord, I think 2013, and I've put it on record, I was ambushed into going for a meeting with him, along with half a dozen others. And
he has
then he was
served 18 months in jail.
First of all, I don't know why you're fixated on your 18 months in jail. It was whatever it is. I condemn that. But point is, did everybody know about it? Did you know the kind of people he was meeting? He was sending an email to the White House General Counsel saying, you know, tell Porters to come for this meeting. There are a lot of important people here. Was he meeting important people or not? I'm not important. But I just one of the people. I used to meet 900 people in a year when I was ambassador, or I met later. So please, I think it is also good for you to get a perspective that when I met him, I did not meet him because I wanted to meet him. And you know, by the way, the second email says, he's telling Terje Rod Larsen, the president of the IPI, who was famous for the Oslo Accords, he's telling him, two-faced, question mark, and that guy says, if you meet an Indian and a snake, kill the Indian first. So that is my association.
So let's raise the big questions tonight. Are the Epstein files a can of worms? Can a relationship with a convicted sexual offender be seen as purely professional? Has Hardip Puri become an embarrassment for the Modi government? Or is Rahul Gandhi guilty of a smear campaign against Union Minister Hardip Puri? The Epstein files are focused. Joining me now on our face-off, Nasir Hussain, senior Congress Rajya Sabha MP, and Aparajita Sarangi, two-time BJP MP from the Lok Sabha. Appreciate both of you joining us. Aparajita Sarangi, to you first. That question straight direct. Hardip Puri's email exchanges with Jeffrey Epstein, someone who was a convicted sexual offender, are they assuming the proportion of an embarrassment for the Modi government, or do you believe this is simply a smear campaign that you can ignore?
A very good evening. You have said what I wanted to say at the end. This is all politically motivated, and Shri Hardip Puri, we must remember, is a career diplomat turned politician. He has huge number of years in his kitty, plethora of experience in the administration side, and now, of course, he has been the minister for quite some time, and he knows how to frame policies at the national level. So he is a very mature diplomat turned politician. And when he says that there was some kind of professional talking 3 or 4 times with them, I think we should believe, we should trust him. We should not be so...
No, but why should we trust him? No, ma'am, why should we trust... No, you're saying we should trust him because, ma'am, just a minute. Ma'am, you're saying we should trust him because he's a career diplomat who's been involved. Okay, fair enough. But just look at some of the email exchanges. They're very direct. One of them, Mr. Puri praises Epstein's taste in people. He also refers to the exotic island where, remember, the belief is that's where many of these offences took place. The fact is, Hardeep Singh Puri today says, I had no idea of Jeffrey Epstein's being convicted. I only knew he was controversial. That cannot be a defense. It reflects poor judgment at the very least. So I ask you again, is he an embarrassment for your government because of these email exchanges that seem to go beyond the professional and seem to talk of a very personal equation that he was attempting to build up with Epstein? And why? Why should he be building up this equation with Jeffrey Epstein in the first place?
See, it is always very easy to talk about anything because, you want to be in the newsprint. Now here, there is a very senior, very erudite, very experienced politician, the minister who has been there for quite some time, holding press conferences and saying under what circumstances he met him. So under these, I think in this kind of situation, I think it's always very important that we look into the issues and trust him. Now let me tell you that he was part of the International Peace Institute, a New York-based think tank, and it was a professional exchange that took place. And he himself says, not 3 but 4 times. See, if somebody who would have had some kind of hanky-panky or something, something to hide, would not come out and say, no, I have met him 3 and 4 times. I really like the way he handled the press conference, or rather he conducted the press conference from his own side. So he's definitely an asset for the government and not a liability, not an embarrassment at all. And as far as Rahul Gandhi ji is concerned, he did raise this issue even on the floor of the House in the Lok Sabha, and when he did so, I was very much present there. See, the point remains that Rahul Gandhi ji is habitual offender, if I can say so, 110 CRPC. I don't desist from saying this because, he loves to indulge in baseless criticism. He never actually, substantiates his claims, whatever he has been saying. He talked about Pegasus. You know what happened about Pegasus. He talked about the Rafale deal, and about Rafale deal, we are aware of the fact that he got reprimanded by the Supreme Court. He talked about the China border issue, that, we have surrendered to China, our territories have gone, and ultimately not an inch was lost. Even Narwane has said that, the army chief. So I think Rahul Gandhi ji, being a habitual offender, would be doing this because he wants to remain relevant. And we are well aware of the fact that Congress never performed so badly in the last 140 years. When Rahul Gandhi ji has been the LOP and he has been indirectly holding the reins of the Congress, we know what's happening to the Congress. So he indulges in this kind of talks. We need to ignore all these statements.
You're saying he's indulging, ma'am, you're saying he's indulging in sensationalism to remain relevant. I want to still focus on the facts. Hardeep Singh Puri refers to Jeffrey Epstein as my friend in an October 4, 2014 email. He seeks his advice on meeting with Reid Hoffman of LinkedIn. You have to tell me, how do you explain this level of familiarity with a convicted sex offender, and what is the specific advice that Hardip Puri should seek that couldn't come from legitimate diplomatic channels? That's the question. The question is, at the end of the day, Hardeep Singh Puri in these emails comes across as someone who is trying to woo Jeffrey Epstein and through him get to Reid Hoffman. Why should he be doing any of this? And all these years later, across many countries, all those associated with Jeffrey Epstein are finding themselves in the line of fire. Why should Hardeep Singh Puri not be able to provide more specific answers?
Mr. Puri has repeatedly said that his interactions with Epstein were professional and limited, and these took place decades ago when he was a diplomat and had nothing to do with Epstein's criminal conduct. Now, being a diplomat, being a foreign service officer, you as part of a particular organization, you get in touch with so many number of people. One does not have to do anything with the antecedents of a person concerned. And you meet at different levels, you talk about different things.
You don't call them your friend.
This doesn't mean that there is any kind of, I would say, criminality to be attached to it. I don't think this is absolutely having any kind of substance. And Rahul Gandhi ji is a past master in the art of scooting and running away. He is a hit and run master, and this is what we call him. आते हैं, कुछ बोलते हैं, चले जाते हैं. The parliament now is not in session for a couple of days. You will see, I'm telling you, in a day or two, he will just be flying to some other country. He will not be in India. So again, he will come back around 8th March, 9th March, when we start
this
the discussion.
debate, though,
he will again create a flutter with some statement, some flex. Yeah. Please continue.
Okay, I'm asking you questions more on Hardip Puri. You're switching it to Rahul Gandhi. Let me take those answers, though, that you've given to Nasir Hussain. You've heard what Aparajita Sarangi is saying. She's saying that Rahul Gandhi is running a smear campaign, hit and run campaign, that Rahul Gandhi is trying to create a perception through innuendo that Hardeep Singh Puri had something to hide. The truth of the matter is that there is no evidence of criminal misconduct, if I may say so, on the part of Hardeep Singh Puri. It's not that he's gone on the so-called exotic island of Jeffrey Epstein. He is having conversations with him. Yes, he's calling him my friend. Yes, he's seeking his advice. But the truth of the matter is, where is the evidence of criminal misconduct? And is what Aparajita Sarangi is saying, Rahul Gandhi is engaging in a smear campaign. Your response?
Rajdeep, I think instead of answering the questions you posed to the BJP spokesperson, she was speaking and diverting the issue and she was all about like Rahul Gandhi hit and run. Rahul Gandhi is hitting them in every session, and the people actually who are running are Bharatiya Janata Party. And in this session, it was not only Bharatiya Janata Party MPs, but also the Prime Minister himself who ran away from Lok Sabha without replying to the House on the motion of thanks on the President's address. She mentioned Pegasus, Rafale, and I would also like to add Hindenburg. I would like to also add Panama files. I would like to also add Chinese scuffles that is happening on the border and Chinese taking over lots of our land, etc., etc., and so on. The moot question is, we are an opposition party. When there is an issue, when there is something in the public domain, then when there are some revelations happening across the world concerning our polity, our economy, our country, it is the duty of the opposition parties or opposition MPs to raise the issue when they are in session. So Rahul Gandhi, well within his rights, as the leader of opposition now, earlier as the MP from the opposition party and leader of opposition party.
He can raise issues, Mr. Nasir Hussain.
Raise several issues.
He can raise issues. He has every right to raise. He has every right to raise issues, Mr. Hussain. But when you link it to US trade deal, when you link it to Narendra Modi, when you suggest there is criminal misconduct, that the Prime Minister is under a chokehold from the Americans, then you are asking people to make a leap of belief in what Rahul Gandhi is saying is the truth. I can only go by what the Epstein files show. Epstein files show Hardeep Singh Puri on a few occasions was in touch with Jeffrey Epstein. You could call it error of judgment. The BJP is saying, where is the criminal misconduct that Rahul Gandhi seems to allege?
Then Rajdeep, the whole problem with the Bharatiya Janata Party, they don't want to discuss any issues that are raised by the opposition. Was there a discussion on Pegasus? Was there a discussion on Rafale? Was there a discussion on Hindenburg files? Was there a discussion on Chinese aggression? Was there a discussion on Panama files? Was there any discussion? See, why is the government scared of discussion? When the opposition poses questions, raises issues, They have to be ready for discussion. The problem with the BJP spokesperson is they want to brand Rahul Gandhi as someone who does a guerrilla warfare, comes, attacks and run away. That is not the issue. He is there. He wants a discussion. Opposition wants a discussion. It is not just Rahul Gandhi. The entire opposition is asking for a discussion. So now, in the trade deal, when the entire country is on a back foot, we all know how it will impact our farmers. We all know how it will impact our economy. We all know how the US president is dictating terms. He is telling us that we can't buy cheap oil from Russia. He is telling in future he will tell you can't buy oil from Iran, from other Gulf countries, from other countries. We'll have to buy only from Venezuela. When he is putting up tweets, on his tweets we are getting to know when the parliament is in session, it is the duty of the government to inform the parliament as to what is happening with the trade deal. Instead of that, we get to know from the US president's tweet. And now, when the Trade and Commerce Minister
I bring you back to the Epstein files?
Rajdeep, just 1 second. We wanted clarification on the trade deal. Nothing has happened. We want to know why is this government bending, kneeling and succumbing to the dictates of the US president and signing such
You made that point. I want to know why. Sir, my discussion is on the Epstein files. Sir, my discussion is on the Epstein files, not on the US-India trade deal. Rahul Gandhi and your other leaders like Pawan Khera are suggesting that Hardip Puri has something to hide, that Hardip Puri, according to Pawan Khera, his continuance in office is untenable because of his email exchanges with Jeffrey Epstein. That's the point I want a clear answer. Why is the Congress saying that Hardip Puri should resign?
See, I'll tell you something, Rajdeep. These revelations that are coming from different parts of the world on different issues, they are not something which the Congress party has gone and dug. We are not digging into something and bringing out. This is something which has come in the normal course or through revelation through some other sources and which is there in public domain. When they are there in public domain, it is the duty of the opposition party to raise the issue. As simple as that. And the party that is there in power is to defend themselves. That can only happen when they allow a discussion. And who is not allowing a discussion? It is the government that is not allowing the discussion.
Can I take this point?
It is as simple as that.
I've taken your point, sir. I have taken your point. Let me take that to Aparajita Sarangi. Yeah, Aparajita Sarangi, the point that is being made by the Congress MPs, you don't want a discussion. You don't want a discussion on Rafale. You didn't want a discussion on Chinese incursions. You didn't want a discussion for the longest time on COVID. Anything that is seen to embarrass the government, you don't want a discussion. And then you say we are going to file a privilege motion. The truth is, you asked Rahul Gandhi to authenticate the charges. Rahul Gandhi is putting forward the Department of Justice report on the US Department of Justice on Epstein. In that report, Anil Ambani is seen to be virtually again influence peddling, almost seeking appointments through Epstein for Delhi's leadership. Hardip Puri is seemingly in some kind of a relationship to, is trying to get Jeffrey Epstein to get him appointments or get Reid Hoffman through Jeffrey Epstein to come to India. Now, is Rahul Gandhi not entitled to ask questions on it in Parliament? The moment he asks questions, the BJP seems to get under your skin.
My esteemed colleague from the Congress was deviating from the topic today. He was beating around the bush because he knows he doesn't have answer to your questions. He has absolutely no evidence, no substance to actually, qualify whatever Rahul Gandhi has been saying about Epstein files, about Hardip Puri ji. Now, as far as Hardip Puri ji is concerned, he called a press conference and he has said very candidly that when he was a diplomat, he had certain number of exchanges, not 3, but 4 times, and he had nothing to do with Epstein's criminal conduct. Now, having heard from him,
no, it's not about criminal conduct. It's about error of judgment. 1 minute, ma'am. Emails are contradicting Hardip Singh Puri claimed. Ma'am, just a minute. Ma'am, just a minute. Hardeep Singh Puri in that press conference claimed of meeting Epstein as part of a delegation from the IPI. However, emails show him having one-on-one meetings at Epstein's residence February 2015, January 2016, May 2017, June 2017, including requests to drop by for a chat and deliver a book. Now, this seems to me to be a relationship that is not strictly professional. And this is therefore a relationship with a convicted sexual offender that your union minister was in. How can you not, how can you just brush it aside? You're a woman, you can't casually just brush it aside.
You just said seems to me. Now seems to me is not the answer, Rajdeep. Pegasus also, they tried to convince the entire world, they failed. And you know, we don't have to have discussion. The Supreme Court reprimanded them. In Rafale, the same thing happened. China border issue, same thing happens. So my point is that here there is no evidence, no substantive evidence. And as far as this particular person is concerned, Epstein is concerned, Sri Hardip Puri ji actually does not want to get into it because he says he was a diplomat. And as a diplomat, you meet hundreds and thousands of people and you don't check the antecedent of every person.
You don't do one-on-one meetings, ma'am, with convicted sexual offenders. I'm sorry. Diplomats don't do one-on-one meetings with convicted sexual offenders and call them my dear friend.
And as far as...
Okay, I want to give a final word to you.
Rahul Gandhi is concerned,
I want to give a final word here to...
sound and fury signifying nothing.
Okay, let me bring in therefore one last time Nasir Hussain. Nasir Hussain, sound and fury signifying nothing. Parliament session gets over, Rahul Gandhi will forget about it. The Congress will also move on to the next issue and the issue will be forgotten. Are you all serious about raising these issues in and outside Parliament, or is it spit and run politics? Final answer. Do you want Hardip Puri to step aside? Can India investigate Epstein files? That's already being done in the United States.
Rajdeep, again I'll stick on to my stand. Our BJP spokesperson was again and again mentioning Rahul Gandhi, calling him names, saying that he doesn't have a right to raise issues. If somebody is well versed with parliamentary democracy, it is very clear the leaders of the opposition, MPs from the opposition, it is their right to raise issues in the parliament, and those issues are not something which they have created or dug up from somewhere. These are the issues which have been revealed by somewhere, or these are the issues that have been there in public domain. And she was mentioning about courts. That means the BJP spokesperson and the BJP thinks that Parliament is not the right place to discuss issues concerning the security of the nation, and the courts will have to deal with it. And in none of the cases she mentioned, Congress had gone to court. Somebody must have gone to the court. Congress wants to debate and discuss these important issues in the Parliament. We will continue to do so. Rahul Gandhi ji will continue to do so. And Rahul Gandhi ji will continue to raise the issues in the Parliament.
I want to speak for 30 seconds.
Thank you so much.
Okay, yes. Take your 30 seconds, Aparajita, quickly. 30 seconds.
Yes. See, there was budget session and number of hours had been earmarked to talk about the budget. He talked about everything except the budget. This is one part. He did not even know what were the components of the budget, what were the contours of the budget. We had 18 hours earmarked for motion of thanks on presidential address. He chose to talk about something else, Indo-China, and a particular unpublished book. Now here, in the statements of Rahul Gandhi, there is no consistency, no conviction, and as far as this particular issue is concerned, no evidence and no substance.
Ma'am, you made that point earlier. You made that point earlier. Last 10 let me give the same 30 seconds now to Nasir Hussain. Only 30 seconds.
I want to say emphatically that we really need to stop this.
No, ma'am, you made your point. Let him have his 30 seconds. Your 30 seconds are up.
Rajdeep, the point is very clear. During the discussion on the president's speech, anybody can raise any issue that has been raised by the president. There we tried raising issues. The party that is there in power ran away from discussion, including the Prime Minister didn't answer to any of the questions that were raised there. Point number one. Point number two, The India-US
your
trade
10 second-
deal
your
is
10
something to
seconds
do
are
with
up.
economy. Budget is something to do with the economy. The budget, no, just 1 second. Budget is something to do with the economy. And when there is a hidden agenda and the government of the day surrenders, kneels and succumbs to a foreign power and signs some deal which is not in the interest of our economy, then we will have to raise it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Nasir Hussain, Aparajita Sarangi for joining me on the debate. I appreciate you joining me. Thanks very much. Well, let's turn to the story that's breaking this evening. Voting has finally ended in the crucial Bangladesh elections that are underway. And Tariq Rahman, the son of the late Begum Zia and the Bangladesh National Party are leading in the early polls as predicted. Bangladesh polls early results showing Tariq Rahman's Bangladesh National Party leading. Bangladesh's High Commissioner has said that voter turnout likely to be over 60%. Majority have voted in favor of the referendum. More than 7.5 crores have voted in this election. Indrajit Kundu is our man on the spot in Dhaka. Indrajit, have the polling day gone on mostly peacefully, or have there been stray instances of violence?
Well, it's been mostly peaceful. There has been one reported death of a BNP leader in Pulna and sporadic incidents of scuffle and violence. But given the context of Bangladesh elections and what we've seen in recent elections, this has been primarily a very, very peaceful election. And the kind of scenes that we've witnessed all across Dhaka the entire day, there was a sense of jubilation, there was a sense of relief, and people really came out in large numbers, cutting across, social strata, men, women, the youth. Large participation. There were massive queues at several of these polling stations. In fact, even though polling ended 4:30 p.m. Bangladesh time, there were a lot of people who were waiting at these polling centers, and the Election Commission did ensure that they were able to cast their vote, and only then the counting processes began. As you just said, the BNP, of course, is claiming that they are en route to victory. The Jamaat-e-Islami is also claiming the same. But what we've learned from sources, even though these are very initial trends and, paper ballot has been counted, it's a slow process, overnight counting would be on. But Tariq Rahman is leading, is what we are told, from his own seat. And the BNP also says, through their BNP sources, that they are, leading this entire election.
Okay, Indrajit Kundu with those details joining us from Dhaka. We'll get more updates from you. I want to understand the significance of these Bangladesh polls. Joining me now, Shafqat Rabi, political columnist, founder of Centrist Nation, joins me from Dhaka. Subir Bhaumik, veteran journalist and author who's tracked Bangladesh for years, joins me. I appreciate both of you joining us. Subir, to you first. Do you believe that this is a watershed election in Bangladesh, or is it, as Sheikh Hasina has called it, a farce because the Awami League is not participating in the election? When your major party doesn't participate, can the elections truly be called free and fair?
Well, I'll make 3 points here. Number one, the authority holding this election, interim government. Yeah? There is no place for an interim government in the Bangladesh constitution as of now. Secondly, this election is tagged along with a referendum. There is no provision in the existing Bangladesh constitution for a referendum. Now, the subject of the referendum is to pave the way for a new constitution, but at the moment, Bangladesh is supposed to be functioning on the basis of an existing constitution, which is the 1972 constitution. There is absolutely no provision either for a referendum or for an interim authority in the constitution. So therefore, there is obviously a serious question of legality about both the authority conducting the election and also the way it is conducted, which means tagging an election along with a referendum. Bangladesh has had referendum before, but never tagged with an election. Also, if you look at the whole paper of, on which people are supposed to exercise their opinion in the referendum, I mean, it's too long. Referendum is usually a yes and no thing. Here, the thing is usually, it's a long thing and it's very confusing. These are two. Secondly, Can you say there is election?
Let me just
inclusive
explain.
Election in
Let me
India?
just explain to
No,
our
no,
viewers.
Rajdeep,
Just a
one
minute. Let
Can
me
you
just.
say election in India is inclusive if Congress is not a
Yes,
part of
go
it?
ahead.
Can you say the election in US is inclusive if the Democrats are not part of it? So without Awami League, let's face fact, Awami League is not some Nizamat or Khilafat. Awami League is a party which has ruled Bangladesh for half of its post-independence history. It's the party which led the liberation war. It's a party which commands easily 35 to 40% of the popular vote. You keep it out of the election and you pretend it's an inclusive election, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Okay, just to explain, the election, this referendum that Shubir spoke about is the July National Charter 2025 document drafted by the interim government under Muhammad Yunus, proposing constitutional reforms like term limits for Prime Minister, two-chamber parliament, focus on Bangladeshi identity. I want to bring in Shafkat Rabi. Shafkat Rabi, you're hearing Shubir Bhaumi calling the election a joke because Awami League is not participating. How do you see it? Do you see this as a watershed election?
So the election and the government is not illegal because the Yunus government has a Supreme Court ruling at the beginning of its formation. So it is not illegal, number one. Number two, the gentleman brought up the example of Congress not being in the election or Republican Party not in the election. Unfortunately, neither Congress nor the Republican Party ever fled from a country. So that's the statistics you also need to consider when you are making those statements. And thirdly, when 60% of the population shows up for an election jubilantly, just like the way your reporter was saying, with festivity, takes part in an election is not devoid of people. You can see the people on the street. And there are many polls after polls after polls that were conducted over the last 1.5 years. Awami League's popularity is no longer crossing more than 10-15%. Even the Awami Leaguers are actually voting today. They chose their party, whichever that is. So we need to take context. We need to take a background into our consideration when we talk. But yes, fleeing a country with the entire apparatus is an extraordinary thing that happened to Bangladesh, which Awami League did. And they are all in India, by the way. So you guys should know better what happened with them.
Can I ask you though, Shafkat Rabi, the rise of the Jamaat-e-Islami and the manner the Jamaat-e-Islami has cobbled together this alliance, is this a worry for you or not? That you have religious fundamentalist forces who are now trying to occupy the center stage of politics? Should that worry you or not in Bangladesh?
In a democracy, people should have their views. Jamaat-e-Islami currently benefiting from the anti-establishment sentiment which Awami League left behind. And this is not an Islamic phenomena, it is a political phenomena that's benefiting Jamaat-Islami. They also took the students, the leaders of the student revolution with them. And that's what giving them a lot of credibility among the young people, which is about 40% of the population below the age of 35. So these are the factors that's fueling Jamaat's current electoral viability. Not to do with religion or other things.
Let me bring you in there for Shubir. Shubir, this is an election, as is being said, which is an anti-establishment election. This is an election, the BNP may well benefit from it, but the truth of the matter, if the people of Bangladesh wanted an election, possibly minus the Awami League, because Sheikh Hasina has fled from the country, they're getting an election. At the end of the day, this could well at least mark some kind of a transition to a new government, elected government headed by BNP. Don't you think that that is a positive sign?
Not at all. For the very simple reason, if you are so sure that Awami League is unpopular, Awami League will not get 10% of the popular vote, let it contest the election. And then let the people of Bangladesh decide who they are voting for. You know, you keep them out of the election. What did Yunus say? Okay, number one. What did he say? He said, no, I'm not allowing their political activity at the moment. I've not banned the party. What do you mean? You don't allow a political party. Now you tell me that I'm not allowing you to do journalism. I'm a professional journalist. What does that mean? You are not allowing me to do what I'm trying to do. Here, you are saying that you're not allowing a political party to contest the election and it's not a regular ban. If you are so damn sure, as the gentleman here said, and I can tell you, if Awami League today contests the election, I'll bet my head, they will not get less than 30% or 35% of the popular vote any time. Okay, 10, 15%, these are all cook-ups.
Okay.
The point here is, for very simple reason, is if you are so sure that the Awami League is unpopular, the Awami League is dead and gone, let them contest the election. And this is supposed to be a fair election. It is held under an authority which is certainly not pro-Awami League. So where is the fear? That is
okay, can I ask my guest? Can I? Okay, no, sir. I've got limited time, Shubir. We have a longer discussion. Yes.
No.
Yes.
This gentleman talked about the figures.
Until 11.
Until 11 o'clock, only 14% vote had been cast. Suddenly at 12 o'clock, the figure goes up to 32%. This is a manufactured turnout, okay? And realities will come out. There are obviously a lot of people there in Bangladesh who have a problem of speaking the truth, because
our reporters on the ground did see. Our reporters on the ground have seen, sir. Our reporters on the ground have seen very long queues, but I want to ask my friend from Bangladesh in conclusion, what would a BNP government mean for India-Bangladesh ties? Is Tariq Rahman ready?
Polling booths where there is not a
Just a minute. Is Bangla... Okay, but the end I will go by my reporter on this, Shubir. I'm asking my guest from Dhaka, do you believe that if Tariq Rahman wins, the BNP wins, he will try to reset elections with India? Yes or no? A quick answer.
Well, no political party in Bangladesh is going to do anything detrimental to the national security of India. Let that be Jamaat, let that be BNP, let that be the communists. Nobody. Okay, so you should not worry about that. Awami League's biggest friend are these gentlemen. They are still shouting on TV channels for a party that fled a country. Anyway, I'm not getting to that. But yes, both political parties will honor a respectful relationship with India.
Right.
A reciprocal
relationship. We'll leave it there. We'll have a more detailed discussion once the results. We'll have a more detailed discussion once the results come out. But I appreciate my guests joining us on this major election that's taken place in the neighborhood. Let's turn to tonight's Get Real India story. The Lamborghini crash in Kanpur that has become much more than a road accident, but actually offers a mirror to how our system is grossly unequal. Delayed action by the police in the first case, then procedural lapses, eventually the swift release of the VVIP brat who allegedly was driving the Lamborghini when several people were injured. He gets released on a modest bond. Questions are now being raised yet again about the influence over the justice system of power and paisa and how it overshadows questions of guilt. Take a look at Get Real India.
A supercar crashes. 6 injured, yet the man behind the wheel walks free. In Kanpur's Lamborghini crash, a troubling perception grows stronger. When power intervenes, accountability weakens. Shivam Mishra, accused in the high-profile crash, roams free within hours of his arrest. Arrested after 4 days of mounting pressure, he spends barely 6 hours in custody before walking out on a personal bond of just 20,000 rupees. Here is how the farce unfolded. After his arrest, Mishra undergoes a medical examination and is produced before the court. In an unusual move, he argues his own case. The court refuses police remand, directs him to cooperate with the investigation, and raises questions over the notices issued by the police.
उसको रिमांड नहीं लाना चाहिए, ये विधि के विरुद्ध है, माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय की गाइडलाइन के विरुद्ध है। माननीय जज साहब ने अपने जुडिशियल विवेक का इस्तेमाल करते हुए इनका रिमांड रिफ्यूज कर दिया और 20,000 रुपए की पीवी और 20,000 रुपए के अंडरटेकिंग पे शिवम मिश्रा को रिहा करने का आदेश पारित कर दिया।
What led to the arrest was not surrender, but surveillance. CCTV footage changed the course of the case. Two crucial clips tell a damaging story. Shivam Mishra allegedly behind the wheel and an apparent attempt to change the Lamborghini's number plate. Police allege there was an effort to mislead investigators. A different driver was allegedly presented. A false affidavit was filed. The probe was steered off track. Investigators say Mishra did not cooperate when summoned, raising serious questions about whether the system was bending to protect the tobacco baron KK Mishra's son. The case also exposes major lapses in the initial investigation. No immediate alcohol test, no mention of Mishra's name in the original FIR. Affidavits claiming a different driver. 4 crucial days lost before action was taken. While rejecting the application for Shivam's judicial remand, the Sessions Court pulled up the police. The court observed that police flouted legal procedure and the arrest process was marred by major flaws. The court noted that an arrest without due process is considered unjust.
The court today also raised concerns over the botched-up investigation by Kanpur police and called the arrest of Shivam Mishra illegal. Now it remains to be seen that what action will be taken by Kanpur police, who is already under the scanner for the shady investigation. With video journalist Shubham Shukla, this is Chawla in Kanpur for India Today.
Yet another case, as we said, where the criminal justice system of this country has much to answer for. We'll keep asking the questions and we'll keep asking the questions of those in power. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubh Ratri. Jai Hind. Namaskar.